Here we go. And 5, 4, 3.
Welcome, everyone, and pull up a seat at the table. It's lunchtime in Rome. Tonight's episode 190 is entitled ChatGPT and AI Emotional Needs. Very often we hear, quote-unquote, experts say, well, there's a lot of experts out there. But what about the combination of all of the experts? What do they have to say? Tonight at the table, we will be looking at what ChatGPT has to say about meeting emotional needs. What is ChatGPT, you say? You'll find that out tonight as well. So pull up a seat at the table and join us. First-time listeners can subscribe on your favorite podcast app or watch us live or later at youtube.com/lunchtime in Rome. Visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com, and while there, you can take our relational needs questionnaire. It's very important to do that. Make sure to follow us on all social media, and it would be great if you gave us a 5-star review. Jay, what specifically is this podcast about?
Being alone is the worst. Good times aren't as good, and bad times are worse when you're all alone. Romans 12:15 says to rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. However, that is how you keep people from being alone. Know what this podcast is all about. We demonstrate that in the first 15 minutes of the podcast, and we talk about it for the rest. So while it may not be 12:15 in Rome, we're treating it like it is
ChatGPT in Rome.
Robots in Rome. Here we go.
Robots in space.
We'll get to that. But this week, we had a big milestone with Maggie.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
She's driving.
Not yet. Driving is crazy. No, she got her first haircut.
Oh,
she got
Crazy.
She went a long time without.
4 years and 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever the math is on that.
5 months past the finish line.
Oh man. But yeah, and after some tears, we got it done.
She
and
had
then
some tears.
Yeah, I mean, she had a really thick head of hair, so they had to like cut some layers out and really thin it out, to get it to where it is.
They take hedge clippers.
I almost I've been pretty close, like on nights that I gotta brush her hair because it's been bad, but yeah, it's kind of shoulder length now, and it's it's one of those things. I didn't know how I was gonna take it. I feel like I was either gonna be like a ball of goo and be super emotional, but I was actually okay because I feel like I was like, finally, it's not gonna be as hard to brush her hair at night or in the morning or whatever. So yeah, I'm excited, but it definitely makes her look just that little bit older.
During the tears, were you like, oh, my baby girl? Were you like, you're getting your hair cut?
No, because, so I don't want to go too long with the story, but so one of the girls at her preschool, Alma, her mom, Stacy, I think her salon is called Stacy's Hair Design or something like that. She has her own like independent salon out.
Designs by Stacy, I believe it's called.
Yeah, that might be it. It's out in that Sola salons. It's kind of cool. I've never been to this before because obviously I don't need hair care. But it's all these independent hairstylists or like manicure, nail artists and whatnot. And they have their own little shop within this like larger building.
Where?
It's out in Monroeville.
Really?
It's right in that plaza that's kind of next to Olive Garden.
Yeah.
It's on the end on the left.
By Patel Brothers.
Yes.
UPS.
And UPS.
Taipei, Tokyo.
But they all have their own like storefront. Like you walk in and it's they have their own little shop.
Yeah.
Like it's in my mind, because Amy was telling me about.
So would that
about
be
it.
called like a galleria?
It kind of is, but like, because in my mind it was all going to be open. They were going to have like their section and like
Right, one big room.
Right, but it's not that at all.
No.
Like it's kind of like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a
Cubicle.
No,
A niche?
because like it's locked up. Like you can lock up your shop.
Right.
It's kind of like a little main street, and here's all the little shops on Main
Pod.
Street, but inside it's really cool, and it's a really cool concept for those
Startups.
creative people that
Yeah.
want to just do their own thing and not have to be bogged down. And yeah, it's great. But anyway, Stacy was great, and we had Maggie. We ended up having Maggie sit on Amy's lap because that was the only way that she was going to get up in the chair because it's first time experience. But it also helped her friend Alma be there, and it was very fun. But Alma and her sister were there, and that was kind of chaotic and all that. So, but yeah, it was really cool.
It's so funny. The older that you get as parents, like I'm listening to you, and you're like, oh, what's it going to be like? I have not thought about what my kid's haircut is going to be like in probably 8 years.
Yeah.
But I did think about when I left Abby tonight, and
At least you're saying it live on the air.
yeah.
Where do you live again?
What's your address?
Call 911 and grab a sword. I mean, that's to sum up the long story short. But Abby and I had a great afternoon.
It's funny because that's what I told the hairstylist.
Yeah, grab
Call 911 and grab a sword.
Were you done?
Yeah.
No, Abby and I had a great afternoon. Lex is down with Ethan at Heinz Hall tonight, and because he's preparing for this really, really big event over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He's performing at Heinz Hall with a it's Heimlich choir. It's like a kind of a special choir, and they're performing with the Pittsburgh Symphony, which I didn't know until this week. So that's really cool. But Abby and I were spending time together this afternoon, and it was so nice out today. And
a great June afternoon.
It was great June afternoon. But she asked me, she was like, "Hey, can we go up to the park?" And I was like, "Sure." And I was like, "What do you want to do?" And she's like, "Well, I want to catch ball." And we had been doing that pretty regularly last year, and then like
with a mitt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not using a baseball. We're using a hockey, like one of my deck hockey balls.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's softer, but like it was great. It was you get so caught up sometimes in the winter or, hibernation. And then when you get a day like today, even though you walk outside and it's nice, you go up to the park and you do something like that, especially with your daughter. And it's like, wow, this, like sometimes we take this so for granted.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Life kind of like, you breathe life in.
Yeah. And her and I were talking about that, like the fresh air, and just, she was like, this is great to be out here. Like just experiencing it. And then we had dinner tonight. And then last night was the cantata, or not the cantata, the cabaret. Bella was in that, and Ethan was in it, and they, like, I'm watching Ethan's performance from last night, just getting chills, because man, he owned the song, and it's just amazing to watch your kids grow into the people that they're meant to be, and something that I've been talking about recently is how parents a lot of times want to make that child into their version of who they want them to be. And, that's part of being a parent.
When do you learn, though, that that's not going to work?
I don't know. Some people never do.
Because that was never, like, Rachel and my biggest, your biggest fear, okay, you worry for your kids all the time, but it was like, what if they're not funny? Like, we were just like that was like our only absolute. Like, they had to be funny. You
nailed that one.
Well,
they're both hilarious.
Yeah,
they are.
We were afraid they'd get the recessive genes of comedy and both. But it's like, I was never me like, oh, you're going to do this. Mm-hmm. Like, Bella never wanted to play volleyball. Cool.
Right.
Whatever.
Right. Right.
I don't know. I just wonder why some parents don't get that. I guess it's about how much they've never been secure in who they are.
Sure, there's a lot there. In I think
we should have a podcast about that. It's
living through their past.
Sure, and a lot of people parent out of fear, and because it's a crazy world, But Lex and I have really always made the commitment to each other and to them to say, you're your own human being, and we have to prepare you to go out into a really complicated world. And so to be able to have Abby come up to me and say, I want to play ball, or watch Ethan up on stage last night, I would have never pegged him for a musical guy or somebody that, has the confidence to get up and sing. But to see them actively pursuing those kind of things is just amazing.
Although looking back, like him growing up, like, because man, I remember the kitchen performances, like the dances and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
it was in there.
Hey,
it was in there. Yeah. But like,
Yeah.
it might have not been as obvious at that point that he would thrive on stage. Because like, if you meet him now, no offense, E, but like, typical teenager, like,
Yeah, but there's so much there.
But man, when he gets on stage, man, he is that he is in the zone, and that is like his element. It's awesome.
Well, Well, and I told you, Jay, it's so funny to see Bella, up there doing her thing, and then also to see her on Tuesday night in your house. It's like a total contrast where, like, at Tuesday night, she's like, hey, Brian. And then up there, she's completely different.
And full emotion into it.
And
all of it. It's crazy.
The courage it takes to get up there and do that in front of your peers, who a lot of them are, have technical understanding of the music and things like that, to see your parents recording you, and like that takes a lot of courage. And so to watch.
Did you tell Chris about how the evening started?
No sound. Oh yeah, with Bella's performance, like she was just there, and like the mic.
Well, she was the MC, and actually she wasn't supposed to be the MC. That the girl who's supposed to be MC, I think, that was the one that threw up. Like something was wrong.
One of them didn't make it.
And so
That's
Bella
bummer.
just grabbed it. She's like, "Fine, I'll do it." Like, because she sort of like takes the responsibility of, because it's almost like a talent show slash.
Yeah.
So there's kids up there who aren't the best of singers, but hey, they're going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
And Bella takes it so seriously, and so she grabs the cards for the MC and she starts off the show and she says her first two words. Nothing into the mic. And Brian, we're dead center, 12 rows back.
And everything's quiet.
And Brian just bellows out, "No sound!"
Your inner Sally came out.
Oh, it was great.
No sound.
And she just looked at Brian like, "Really?"
It was funny.
Where was it held?
The high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But for me, this week has continued. It's now the second week of a dumpster fire that has been so challenging for me, because I'm in this fire with three other people. The one other person, they're the cause, but the other two people are involved. And obviously I can't go into too much detail, but they see it slightly different than I do. Though they don't see it from the other person's perspective at all, but they don't think it's as necessarily as dire of a circumstance as I do, or just finite. Like, it's just not, And so that's been amazingly challenging for me. And it's, I always say it's my shower thoughts. I can put it out of my head. I deal with it. And then 1 o'clock in the morning, I hop in the shower and I'm like, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is, But, and you kind of I was laying in bed last night thinking about it, or this morning. And I stopped and I was like, you know what? This might just be what the enemy's trying to do, is get me to obsess. So there's probably some other things I should be thinking about right now that I'm being distracted from. Because, okay, you got your dumpster fire. If I can put the fire out right now, great. If I have to burn in the fire right now, all right, I'll deal with it. But there's no changes. There's no significant revelations coming my way in how to move forward in this dumpster fire.
Right.
Then I need to focus where else God would have me focus. And so it was a neat little revelation that I had, just like, wait a minute, I'm being distracted. And then of course you're like, all right, what am I being distracted? One place I was not distracted was this afternoon out at Monroeville Park Disc Golf Course.
Wish I was there.
Where Uncle Todd and I got together. And I tell you what, Chris, you think I play fast, and you've played with Todd. Bro is so fast. He will walk up to the tee,
just steps up, and
not
throws.
break stride, and throw.
Like, his whole walk up to the tee is part of his approach. Yeah.
But like Brian said, and everybody else knows who lives around here, it was so gorgeous. A little windy, for disc golf. There was a few funny moments, and I threw some bad shots. Ooh, I threw me some bad. Like
You still scored well.
Number two, the tee's way back. Yeah, I hit that first tree and put it right into the ditch.
No.
Oh yeah. That's arguably the hardest hole in the course.
Yeah.
After a really nice tee shot on one, and made par and everything else. But
man,
two takeaways. One, I actually putted pretty well. So like the work I've been putting into it. I mean, I probably made 2 or 3 putts over 20 feet. Maybe even one was like 40.
Yeah.
Made a nice straddle putt. So it's like, and then even the ones I missed that were maybe inside the circle, it was like, all right, like it was a little high, a little low.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a thing. But like what I've been working on for the first time ever in putting might be able to be replicated and productive.
You finally got putting down.
Yeah, it's mastered it. And the other is I finally birdied number 11 across the basketball, or softball field.
Yep. You birdied that.
I finally did.
Wow.
I threw an okay tee shot, little short, so I still had like 50 to get to the baseball field, the par 5. After the elevator.
Okay, yeah. Yep.
And
Did you go over the fence?
Well, the wind is gushing
Yeah.
left to right. I mean, it's gusting, not gushing. left to right. And I had my one disc in my hand, and I was going to throw a backhand because it's a little understable, so it'll finish right.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah, the wind might beat that down. I'm like, just launch a forearm, that's gonna ride the wind.
Yeah.
And I lessened the percentage chance of failure.
Yeah.
And I threw it, and it went kind of dead straight. And I was like, oh no. But then like the wind gusted and just carried it. And I was in the middle
that's
of the
awesome.
fairway, I don't know, 200 out, 220. And the pin was all the way into the woods now.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
for the-
Oh, I don't think I've played that whole way.
No,
the pin is
there's
down in there.
several different pin placements that
Yeah.
they haven't used before. And for the first time ever, well, that works out better because I'm always way down to the right anyhow
Yeah,
after my
yeah.
second shot. But I had a perfect second shot to about 20 feet and made the putt.
Dude, doesn't it
Nice.
feel so good to make a good shot in the situation that you're in?
On purpose.
Yeah, but I mean,
You
like
get away with it.
you've never been in that situation before with the wind and everything.
Oh, you mean across the field?
Yeah.
Well, and again, if I would have thrown the backhand, it probably would have gotten beaten
Right,
down and
exactly.
leaked
But you
left.
made the call,
Right.
and it paid out. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Nothing
That's so
win.
fun.
Nothing feels better, than when what you intend to happen actually happens.
And you're not only are you right, but you
Yeah.
execute.
You execute.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll throw a little disc golf story in there too.
Ooh.
Well, it's in my my dreams, but it's coming. It's not a real disc golf story. Anyway, I've been doing physical therapy for my shoulder,
Yep.
which I am totally appreciating. I was saying,
Turns out exercise. It's good.
right? I mean, who knew
Moving
it
your-
was helpful?
moving your
Nobody tells
body.
you these things.
Resistance training is beneficial to the human body.
But it really, like, I put it off for a long time because I honestly thought I had damaged my shoulder.
You're just weak.
yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, so I didn't do anything because I thought, well, I don't want to make it worse. But no, it's been really good, and got permission from my physical therapist that between now and Monday, go out and throw some light shots on the course, like
Nice.
maybe some approach shots,
That's
that kind of
awesome.
thing, and just
Yeah.
see how it feels. And
No drives.
no drives,
Yeah.
no like real,
Not
haul
ripping
back.
it.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Don't rip
awesome.
it, but go through the motion, see how your arm feels.
Yeah.
and that's what he was saying. So
That's great.
I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I join you in that, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. So I'll be heading up to the church at some point. Yeah, and just like
Yeah.
I envision myself kind of like standing maybe in the middle of the parking lot, throwing off toward
Yeah.
what number is old 6 now? 9, 8? Doesn't matter. 8. You know what I'm talking about. So that's great. So that's a little bit of good news physically for me, and then of course for the lovely wife Amy. She just finished her last round of radiation yesterday.
Yes.
Rang the bell.
Yes.
Right. Yep. She got to ring the bell as they do at Forbes anyway. I don't know if
It was
that's a
Forbes.
universal
Okay.
thing.
Yeah. Couldn't remember.
Yeah, she rang the
So
bell,
awesome.
and they have this big quilt hanging on the wall where, on their last day, everybody grabs a Sharpie and signs it, and so she got to put her name and date on there. And,
That's amazing.
So that was her last radiation.
yes,
Wow.
that was the end of 4 weeks.
I was gonna say, like, I'm sure for you guys it felt like an eternity, but like that seems real. Like it seems like she just started doing the whole thing to me. I mean, that's great.
Well, once the radiation actually started happening,
Right.
like,
Once you
got
could start doing
rolling,
treatment.
Yeah.
It was all the stuff that led up to
Yes,
treatment.
it was all
that
the-
felt for forever.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's how we were. Like
Yeah.
it was the constant, just the delays and the uncertainty. Once
and
we
you're
got
not being
going,
productive.
right? Yeah, you're just like, well, okay, now we have to do another test. Now we have to wait for the
Like
results.
with each radiation,
we
you're
want,
like, okay, we're gaining on it.
Yes.
We're eliminating
Yeah.
it. We're stopping it from coming back. We're
Yeah.
doing something.
right. And
So,
now,
oh, sorry. Go
well, other than the biopsies, of course, this is the thing that has caused her a lot of pain, though, too. 'cause
Yeah.
it's basically like
severe sunburn.
severe sunburn.
Yeah.
So even though she's done,
That's so
it's still
uncomfortable.
going to, the pain will intensify for I don't know how many days, a few to several days,
Sure.
and then just like a sunburn, it'll start to finally recede, and she's gonna peel like crazy.
Is that
and
and,
like,
it's, and it's localized, just like
it's quote unquote localized, but it's like her whole side. Like it's from armpit.
like she fell
I don't know how
asleep.
you-
Like she
man,
fell
how do you
asleep on
s-
her side in the sun.
basically, yeah.
I don't even know how you sleep with that.
Yeah.
Like the burn is the worst pain.
Yeah.
It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah. She's
So-
I mean, she's managing it, which
Yeah.
is that's great,
Yeah.
but it's still very not fun.
So what's next? Like a follow up? Like how what's that road look like?
Yeah, she has to do a follow-up oncology appointment. But that's basically it's to get her set up. She has to take this pill for 5 years, and it's basically
5 years.
for 5 years.
And is that
Yeah.
for for the radiation, or is
No, it's not like a radioactive pill that they do. For
No, go ahead. Why don't you just tell us what the pill is?
Well, I thought you were, because some people do, like for thyroid cancer, and I know you've had thyroid experience, Jay, but like they'll give you like this radioactive pill that you're not allowed to do certain things.
My mom's on. She had part of her small intestine taken out in 2016, and she's still on this thing called Gleevec. They stopped it for a year or two, but yeah, it's like a small low dose, I think, chemo kind of a pill.
Yeah, and that's not what this is.
Right. My question was it to counteract or protect her body from the radiation? Like, is it like an iodine kind of a?
No, not to my knowledge. My understanding is that it's more of an estrogen balancing thing. So, because that is what, like an increase in estrogen or a spurt of estrogen or whatever, like that actually caused the what's it called?
So
like
it's an estrogen regulator.
Yeah,
okay.
that sort of thing.
All right. 5 years.
The body's a complex.
5 years.
Yeah.
But are there side effects or not so much?
Probably. I don't know.
I stopped listening.
There's some, there's probably some commercial for it where there's a million side effects. No, I don't think there's any serious side effects other than, well, I will tell you this. It can, in a woman Amy's age, she'll be so happy I'm talking about this.
Yep.
In a woman Amy's age, i.e.
Nasal hair.
mid to late 40s, it will push you toward menopause.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah,
Not
because-
menopause, but that kind of medication.
Yeah. Like
know of other people.
it'll lead you in that
Well, yeah, I mean,
direction
if it's an
because that's
estrogen
what it's
regulator.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pulling back on the estrogen. So
And I haven't made one estrogen joke about you.
About him or Amy?
No, him. I would make one about Amy.
Chris has more estrogen than Amy.
There it is.
I'm in touch with my feelings.
Feelings, huh? That's crazy.
Does an
talking
AI
about
feel?
feelings? So we came across, Eric did. He did some looking on the internet and looked up some ChatGPT, a ChatGPT answer to what are the top 10 emotional needs. And so all the guys here at the table, we shared it as in a text thread, to which Chris said,
What is ChatGPT?
and so that's where we're going to start this evening. And I think we should have, as the resident tech expert, I'm going to go ahead and say, Eric, why don't you tell us a little bit about ChatGPT?
Well, actually, can somebody read that screen behind me right there?
I can
I
see
think we
that.
all could.
Oh, okay. Me? You?
Yeah,
Me?
yeah, Chris, you do it.
I'm going to read it. So, ChatGPT is a large language model developed by OpenAI. That being a company, right?
Yes,
OpenAI.
yes.
It uses deep learning algorithms to process and understand human language and can generate responses to text-based queries and conversations. Essentially, it is a computer program that is designed to understand and generate natural language text in a way that's similar to how humans communicate. ChatGPT is trained on a vast corpus of text data, which enables it to generate responses that are relevant, informative, and often quite convincing. The model is designed to be used in a variety of applications, including customer service, chatbots, language translation, and more.
And college essays.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that is...
Yeah, and we can do some. We're going to do some live Chat GPT here while we're doing the show. And I do have. You guys can't see it really, but if you're watching on YouTube at any point in time, either now or later, I do have the screen share up, and you can see what we're doing live while we're doing the show.
And I will say, as the resident person who had no idea what this Chat GPT was, when Eric first shared he asked it, what are the top 10 emotional needs, and it answered, and I'm now referring to it as an it, but at the time I'm like, that never would have been my response. If you guys had said, well, what do you think, or who do you think this is? I would have come up with some, well, here's a person that is
Dr. Phil, Jordan Peterson.
Right. Like
Right.
somebody who kind of knows what they're talking about at least and is coming up with an intelligent sounding answer to the question. And that's amazing.
So for anybody that really doesn't know, here's what ChatGPT is. Do you remember Skynet from Terminator? We are teaching these machines how to overtake us. It's just going to take like 5 years of us feeding these things. That's my take on
It's
it.
a certain fear.
There's a certain fear that's attached to it. My perspective is if we let that happen.
Why wouldn't we?
I don't know.
I mean, come on.
But it is interesting. I
Because
actually
we can control it, our group.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Right.
And we use it against the other group.
So I've actually yeah, bro.
Brian's getting
What
upset.
was it in 2001 A Space Odyssey? Hal?
Yeah, Hal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing.
Anyways, please let's continue
No,
and
that's fine,
pretend
that's
this is fun.
Brian's like, why isn't Abby calling me saying somebody's breaking in?
Gotta go.
Abby's like, ChatGPT's trying to break in the house. She's trying to break in the
Dad,
house.
if somebody breaks in, I'll just call ChatGPT.
I was amazed as the conversation went on. I know you're going to talk about this here, but how its answers evolved and adjusted, and how it became a little more knowledgeable or a little more like impact. Like it was responding to you, like when you said, "Well, no, what about this?"
Right.
Oh yeah, and it elaborated then off of what you said.
Right.
And
It's
took
like you're having a conversation
Yeah.
with it.
Oh my gosh, it is scary, amazing.
I mean, I
Yeah.
was on it in like September or something like that, and and it wasn't as good then. Like with famous people and famous things, it didn't know. It was fine. But like
Yeah.
if you ask like, what's the Lunchtime in Rome podcast?
It
all
doesn't
about?
know. Only because one, all the information it has is up until 2021, so it doesn't have 2022 or up until now. Okay.
Wait, really?
so
yeah.
it's not like it's not constantly receiving info from like
Right.
the internet or whatever.
Right. Not yet.
Right.
When you asked it what is Lunchtime in Rome, does it try to fake an answer, or does it?
No, it didn't give an answer at all, and then
So it'll admit when it doesn't know something.
yeah.
Okay.
So
So it's not really a human.
Yeah.
right.
Well, that was my impression when the chat when you said what are the 10 emotional needs, and it listed things that were like emotional need-ish, all related, but I'm
Right.
like, this person doesn't quite. No, these don't quite make sense as a comprehensive list.
Right.
But so that's why I thought, well, maybe it just will always try to come up with some answer.
It's always gonna. Yeah. Yeah. Unless it doesn't know, it will say like I don't have that information,
Okay.
or a lot of times like I've put things in like to try to stretch it a little bit and be political, and a lot of times it's like it'll say like we don't get into politics, and then there's other people that have like forced it into being political, and then it does. So like it's interesting because like I've seen on both sides of the aisle, whether it's Democratic or conservative or liberal, and they'll make it do whatever it wants to do.
I'd be curious if like, does it learn from a conversation like you ask it, what are the 10 emotional needs? It
Yeah.
comes up with its answers. You say, no, it's this, this, this. Oh, okay. I see where, and you have a conversation with it.
Yeah.
A week later, if I ask it the same thing,
Will
that
it
would be
learn from that?
Will
on
it say,
yours?
oh, are you referring to, and it lists
My
Eric
gue-
Hammond's 10
yeah.
emotional needs?
My guess would be not yet,
Okay.
only because it's pulling from a certain data set.
What does GPT stand for?
I don't know actually.
Because I've been on actually, I don't think I was on ChatGPT. I was on OpenAI's website when I did that, because they have like an art generator where you can just say, hey, draw me a picture in watercolor of a landscape in Austria with people skiing. And within X amount of seconds, it does it for you.
Wow.
But you can also say, hey, write a story or write a joke and about this, and it will do that for you.
Is this kind of the same concept as a lot of like when you log onto a website and you have the little robot pop up and it's like, hey, how can I help you? You know?
Clippy from Microsoft Word.
No, but you know what I mean? Like
I know what you
like a
mean.
customer service.
Yeah,
kind of
I
portal
always
kind of a
wondered if
thing.
those were really real people.
Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't.
Yeah.
But it seems like the same kind of a concept, only
So-
on a much broader scale.
Yeah, Johnny's online right now.
I will tell
telling
you this. So the way I see it is as of right now, is it's not going to replace human beings. It's more of going to be like your little robot assistant and to help you do what you do. So I just typed in, what are some of the best vacation what are some of the best vacation locations for families on the East Coast of the United States? And now it's saying there are many great vacation locations for families on the East Coast of the United States. Here are some options to consider.
Well, before you read those, it's interesting watching it pop up on screen. Is this part of it? Like it looks like it's
Thinking
typing.
and talking.
Yeah, it looks like it's
but
coming
there
out
are
in
those
real
that would
time.
argue that it's delayed
Right.
for that reason.
For that, so it looks like it's somebody typing
Right.
back to you. Yeah.
It almost is like an interactive.
It's a nice list.
But you have to
Search engine.
But it is, and that's what's coming next in search. Not on this episode, but that's what's coming next because Microsoft is a huge investor, and it's going to be part of Bing search, which nobody's talked about Bing in a decade.
Bing.io?
But now we're actually talking about it. Yeah.
Washington D.C. God no.
Number 7 is her family sold their condo
Oh, too soon.
at Ocean City. Brian's still upset about it.
would have
How does
been.
it
No,
know
but
all
it's
that?
actually taking my specific question and then pulling from different. Like it's not like Google where you're putting in a query, and then these are the results for that specific query that Google has. It's actually pulling from different information and coming up with a specific answer for your query based on the information that it has. So it's more personal to what you're asking. So it's listing out things like Orlando, Florida, Myrtle Beach, Williamsburg, and it gives a little
Yeah, a little blurb.
synopsis.
Yeah.
Washington D.C. because a lot of things are free there. The Air and Space Museum, it's awesome.
Bahaba, Maine.
Bahaba, Cape
Bahaba.
Cod, Niagara Falls,
That's Hershey,
Hershey, Pennsylvania. Look at that. Okay.
Ocean City.
Ocean City.
Maryland.
Maryland. Woof.
That's actually a very eclectic list. That's,
So let's do
that's
this.
Nice.
Okay, so
That is an interesting list.
Which Ocean City is better?
Oh, now
replying
you're
to it.
giving it an opinion.
yeah.
Eric is typing in because it mentioned Ocean City, Maryland in its list. So Eric is typing Ocean City, New Jersey is far superior to Ocean City, Maryland.
You can read it, Chris. Go ahead.
Well, it's giving what looks like. It starts with a sort of verbatim response. It says, "I'm an AI model, so I provide neutral and unbiased responses. I understand that different people have different preferences. That being said, both Ocean City, New Jersey, and Ocean City, Maryland are popular beach destinations on the East Coast, and each has its unique features and attractions." And then it goes into what each is known for. That is a comprehensive answer.
Yeah. Yeah, I will admit it is pretty cool, and it is going to change the world. Like there's no stopping it now. Like it will change the world somehow.
It has a concluding sentence. Ultimately, the choice of which ocean city to visit or which beach destination to choose depends on the individual preferences and needs of the family.
I'll let you know it's New Jersey.
That's Eric GPT right there.
Yeah.
That'd be great if it did learn from users and we bombard it with Ocean City, New Jersey,
the best.
propaganda. So it gives all this, but at the bottom it always says, that being said, it's New Jersey.
Now, the other thing you can do with it is like there's different tricks that you can do with it with like if there's a long article that you don't really want to read, you can actually paste that entire article into ChatGPT and then put TLDR, which means too long, didn't read, and it'll summarize that article for you into like a single paragraph, which is pretty interesting.
I'm interested at this point in time, not so much in vacation spots or summarizations of articles, but how smart, how learned is it in regards to emotional needs?
Yes.
And so the way this all started for us was you typed in, what are the top 10 emotional needs?
Do it live.
Do we want to start there?
Yeah.
And I have a question for Jay and Brian about in the synopsis of our podcast episode tonight, when you say it's a combination of all the experts, you're just referring to everything that ChatGPT is drawing on?
Correct.
Okay. Cool.
So I just typed it in and now it's giving its response.
Interesting already.
And and oftentimes it won't give, like, because I've asked it, this is the third time I've asked it this question, because I did have I did have it preloaded because there's a lot of people that are using it, and sometimes you can't get on and use it, because of bandwidth issues. So I do have, and it'll be interesting to kind of compare what I had before when I did the pre. I printed out something for Jay so that we have
Pre-show prep.
Yeah, that we have like something in case this didn't work live. But right now it's doing it live, so that's awesome.
So you're saying these 10 are slightly different?
So number
from-
1 says love and connection, but earlier it said love and affection. Feeling loved, connected, and supported by others is a fundamental emotional need for most people. And that's similar to what it said before. In regards to that, it's interesting to me. Is that a need? Love and connection, like that's a basic human. I don't say need. It's a byproduct of
basic
being
human
a human.
needs are love, food.
Right. I'm saying, yeah, it's an oversimplification. Mm-hmm. Number 2, safety and security. Okay, great.
Right. Well, I can see some of ours already popping up. Like, for
security.
example, security. Well, and in the first one, it mentions support.
Yeah, but not in what?
That
Not in the way
would
we
be
use it.
belonging, wouldn't it?
It's more belonging.
Yeah.
The
It's
connection.
being connected to
Yeah.
somebody else. Look at Brian. But I love number 1 is love and connection. 3, autonomy and control.
No,
You gotta have both. No, it's a control over your own, like, feeling a sense. So there's a freedom in that, but where would that?
Respect,
Okay.
competence and achievement, feeling competent and accomplished.
Appreciation.
Appreciation's in there, except no,
They
'cause
don't
you can
mention-
be competent and achievement. You can have that without anybody appreciating it.
right. You can
It's
achieve
almost a
stuff without-
security
yeah.
/ respect that I know my worth, and I'm able to achieve something. Meaning and purpose, again, it's too bland.
It's way too general.
It's not good. Emotional expression. I have a need for emotional expression. I mean, I guess to a degree that, again, that's security. These are almost all tapping into security. Am I secure? Am I safe enough that I can express how I feel? Is all that tells me. Because that's not an emotional need. It is an emotional building block.
Yeah.
You were attuned to by your parents when you were a baby, that when you would say goo goo, they would say goo goo. When you smiled, they would smile back. So I know I can. That's a developmental building block,
Well, look at
not a current emotional need.
Look at number 7. That's novelty and variety. That, again, that's something to
me, that's
build
an
off
intellectual
of.
need.
That's a. Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's an intellectual need.
right.
I
And
need
it
to be
talks
creating,
about promoting creativity. Yeah.
playing,
Unlike AI.
yeah, playing humor. No, you suck at ChatGPT. Physical touch is an emotional need. Now that's affection. All right.
This is
That's
why-
one of the 5 love languages.
yeah.
This is why my response to you guys before I knew it was AI, when we had this conversation a week ago.
You're like, what expert is this?
Right. I was like, okay, it sounds like somebody who kind of is on the cusp of understanding emotional needs, but they're just trying to come up off the top of their head with, here's what maybe 10 of them could be, and they're somehow maybe a little bit connected.
And if you remember in this on what is ChatGPT, Chris, because
Yeah.
and you read it with some emphasis when you did, and often quite convincing,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So like it's gonna be wrong, and they've even said like it's not perfect, and it's said
Yet.
that's true.
Brian's dying 1,000 deaths.
But it does
we're
come off.
literally feeding the demise of humanity.
See, and I'm like, let's teach it the emotional needs so like people actually know.
But it does come off as quote unquote convincing in the sense that
So
it
does my
is
dad.
That's episode 190
Love you, Dad.
of Lunchtime in Rome.
I'm gonna
Make sure to
put,
give us a 5-star.
No, it's great.
Put
But
the
it
replay
does in
buffer on
the
that
sense
too.
that it's if you are not an expert in it, or if you don't know, like if you're a beginning student and you're like, oh, I'm taking this class on
Yeah.
emotional needs,
Right.
and I didn't read the book, I didn't read the chapter for this class yet. Let me just chat GPT it real quick.
yeah.
you could look at that and say, oh, okay, maybe these are the 10 emotional needs. It's
Right.
convincing.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, Jay. We could take this in two different directions. One, we could ask it the next question that you had here. Or do you want to feed it the actual 10 emotional needs?
Like, what is comfort?
What? Yeah.
Ooh, let's vote. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I
I
like
kind
that
of
too.
like seeing, yeah.
You want to? Okay, hang on.
Still go.
So
You can go in
that's
order.
1 by 1, is that what we're doing?
No, go 3 by 3.
No, I just mean like,
Estrogen.
The breast navigator.
Ah, yes. Hashtag 2 episodes ago. And by that, I mean 3 episodes
Yeah,
ago.
that's not just a random thing. That was a running theme.
right. No, that's a.
Check us out on our YouTube shorts.
So I'm going to say we believe the 10 emotional needs are, and then we're going to list the actual, real 10 emotional
Oh,
needs.
you're not just going to say what is acceptance? Because you did that. before.
No, I didn't. Watch. Watch.
Okay. Oh, good. They say that they're also important and considered fundamental to emotional well-being. Here's a brief explanation of each.
Yep.
But immediately it doesn't argue with you. It's like the quintessential improvisation thing. Where
Yes, and.
or yeah, exactly.
It's
So it
your
says,
friendly AI, Chris.
yes, you're correct, and here's some more information about it.
And also, it's sort of passive-aggressive. Because it's sort of like, well, yeah, of course. But
Yeah,
Here's
but
why
mine
I
were more
still know
superior.
more.
I didn't say that because
Mine are
I
more superior
didn't
than
think
yours.
you could understand it.
Human.
I that's a given.
When I kill
to
you
be
in 10
fair,
years.
anybody would have known that. But it starts right off with acceptance, and it's not acceptance.
Ooh, let's look at that. 'Cause
Yeah, I want to be
has
critical. Let's be critical.
Yeah. So acceptance, it says, is feeling accepted for who we are without judgment or criticism. This involves feeling that others appreciate our strengths and weaknesses and accept us despite our imperfections. There is some...
Only at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. It doesn't say being loved even though
We've done wrong.
we've done wrong.
Yeah.
2.
Affection. Receiving affection and warmth from others can help us feel loved, valued, and connected. This may involve physical touch, verbal expressions of love, or other acts of kindness and care.
Solid.
Yep.
Yeah. Anybody want to do number 3?
Appreciation. Feeling appreciated
Can't
for
be using the word.
In the definition. Come on, ChatGPT.
Come on.
appreciation. Feeling appreciated for our contributions and efforts can help build self-esteem and a sense of purpose. This may involve receiving recognition or praise from others for our accomplishments, skills, or qualities.
Still pretty solid, though, right?
Yeah.
At the
I mean,
end.
okay, they dug deep on appreciation.
Except for using
Jay is so...
the
Don't, Jay, we're
the
not going to
disdain.
replace you with this. Don't worry.
Dadgum, right?
Number 4 would be approval. Seeking approval from others is a natural emotional need, as we often rely on the feedback and opinions of others to gauge our own worth and value. However, it's important to balance this need with a healthy sense of
Stealth-esteem.
self-esteem
That's just for ninjas.
and self-worth.
Nope.
I was gonna say there's not much of like belonging. How
Well, I
we
mean, it's seeking approval, but it's not. It's it's not so much the belonging, because like the approval is, hey, it matters that I'm a Mitlow. It matters that we sit at the table. When you say to somebody, have you ever listened to Lunchtime in Rome? And somebody says to you, oh yeah, I sit at the table every week. That's meeting your need for approval, belonging. We have a commonality. We belong to this. It's
Well, and that's why you prefer to use
Belonging
belonging
instead
instead
of-
of the word approval. Yeah.
Right.
And Eric's asking it right
Oh.
now. How does approval relate to belonging? And it goes, it doesn't. Jay just talks about it that way.
We'll come back to it. We'll let it answer that.
Oh, I'm so excited. No, I'm not excited.
Attention.
Yeah, I'm not excited for that.
Number 5, attention. Feeling noticed and attended to by others can help us feel valued and validated. This may involve receiving active listening, engaging in meaningful conversations, or participating in activities that reflect our interests and passions.
Solid.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to give it props there.
Comfort, the toughest one.
There we go.
I can't do my neck.
Oh, you
hurts
can't
too
see it.
bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't.
Seeking comfort and solace during times of stress or distress is a natural emotional need. This may involve seeking emotional support from others, engaging in self-care activities, or seeking out a safe and nurturing environment. comfort's something you give, right? I don't know that it's so easy to like.
Well, I noticed in approval it also uses seeking.
Yeah.
The need isn't seeking. You have,
Right,
it's-
you have a need.
Being hungry is not seeking food. It's I don't have enough food. That's the action that follows.
And somebody give me food, which would meet that need.
I need food.
Right.
This would be somebody
not the seeking.
trying to steal that emotion. Like they're seeking it out. You know what I mean?
For some reason, in this one, in comfort, it uses the word seeking 3 times, which is it's really that's
Seems kind of
It's
needy.
at
still
least
the hardest
too
one.
many times.
Jay, can you
It is the
define
hardest one.
what comfort is again?
Yes. Comfort is joining somebody in their emotions, whether it be, it would be in their negative emotions. So if somebody is sad, it's being sad alongside them. It is attaching comfort to grief. And so it is joining them in that emotion so that they would not feel alone in their pain. It is
So-
not
Oh, please.
It is not fixing their pain. It's not putting their pain into perspective. It is not taking their pain and helping them not get into the same place where they got hurt before. It's simply joining them in that emotion, which heals that grief.
So to dumb it down, because like I've always had a hard time understanding it. Like it's basically being sad with somebody that's sad.
There it is.
All right.
I'm going to give it some props. It says,
There you go.
it doesn't say the word finding, but finding solace during times of stress or distress. So that,
That's ballparky.
yeah, someone providing you with solace during times of stress or distress would be comfort. So it's ballparky, yeah.
Number 7, encouragement. Feeling encouraged and supported in our goals and aspirations can help us feel motivated and inspired. This may involve receiving constructive feedback, guidance, or mentorship from others.
Barely.
Barely.
Because the only action in that may involve receiving constructive feedback. So if Rachel says, hey, I finished the laundry, and I go, let me tell you something, honey. You did a pretty good job, but I still have some stains on my T-shirt armpits. Now that's constructive. I think maybe next time you want to rub a little vinegar in there, might loosen that up. Is she encouraged by that?
No.
No.
Well, and even it says in the first line, feeling encouraged and supported. Well, encouragement isn't support. They're
Nope.
completely separate.
Right.
Yeah.
Encouragement is a verbal belief in one's ability to accomplish a task.
Yeah.
Does it, it does not provide like a bibliography of sources, does it? Does it tell us where it got this information?
They are the source.
We can ask it.
Oh, okay. We can, all right, cool.
Number 8, respect. Feeling respected for our individuality, dignity, and worth can help us feel empowered and valued. This may involve receiving fair treatment, recognition of our boundaries and preferences, and freedom from discrimination or prejudice.
I'm down
It's
with
all
that.
right. Yeah, it's all right.
I mean, everyone uses it in its definition, and that bothers me. But,
Right. I don't like that, but that's okay.
Well,
For
and,
sure.
and to be fair, let's go back up.
And
a
they
little bit.
highly value empowerment and validity
Yeah.
in most of their answers.
It does say it's a brief explanation of each. It's not a definition.
Not a definition. It's
Just-
true.
Just to be fair.
Each one is giving one sentence that has, here's why it's good for you.
Right.
And then it says it can include these things.
No, we can ask it
Yeah.
for the definition and it'll spit it out.
No.
Security.
Security, feeling safe and secure in our environment, relationships, and life circumstances is crucial for emotional well-being. This may involve feeling financially stable, having a supportive social network, okay, and having a sense of control over our lives.
That might be the best one.
Oh, interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Support. Receiving support from others during times of need can help us feel cared for and valued. This may involve receiving emotional, physical, or practical assistance from others, such as advice, encouragement, or assistance with daily tasks.
Solid.
Solid.
Yep.
Absolutely solid. But the question is, how does approval relate to belonging?
Oh, right. Because, yeah, a few minutes ago we were discussing
That's
how
3 paragraphs. In summary, approval and belonging are both important emotional needs that are closely interrelated. Seeking approval from others can help promote a sense of belonging within a regenerate response.
slide it up. There you go.
Feeling rejected or criticized can undermine our sense of belonging and lead to a negative emotional outcome.
So that was promote a sense of belonging within a group. Yeah. Okay. Well, that wasn't bad
No.
as far as a clarification of how they're related.
And now Eric is asking it, is it okay? What are ChatGPT's pronouns?
I mean, it's an it to me. Or,
Right.
you know, whatever.
He's asking it where he got the explanation of the 10 emotional needs.
Well, the nice thing about all this too is that Google and Alexa are all listening to us talk, and it's all going to eventually end up in here.
I can't
too.
wait to get, book recommendations on my Facebook ads.
Yeah.
Error.
We're checking its sources.
I don't know how it's going to answer this one because it may just be a generic, I have a database, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
As an AI language model, I don't have to tell you.
You are beneath me.
Fields such as blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not giving specific sources. It's saying they're commonly cited
Generally pulled from
in
fields.
psychology, counseling, and social work.
Yeah. I'm going to say stop. We don't need that
Yeah. Okay.
one. So we'll move on to the next question.
How do you meet someone's emotional needs?
How did it compare, Jay? You have the one I did earlier in front of you, but how did that compare to what we just went through there? Was it very similar? Maybe not word for word, but
Those were all longer than what you printed out earlier.
okay, interesting.
They're all probably like 3 sentences, where these are all 1 sentence.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, this one said a brief description of each one. Is that what it said? Anyhow.
Ooh. I don't know. I like this so far.
Yeah,
You want me to start reading? Okay, so the question
But
is...
you're also the self-admitted worst at it at the table.
I don't know, Jay. I read these words and I hear your voice.
Chris is gonna go home, and he's gonna have. There's gonna be a situation with Amy, and he's gonna
like,
say,
hold on.
hold on, I'll be right back." Goes into the bathroom.
This thing is my new best friend, I'm telling you.
That's
All
what
right.
they want you to do.
How do you meet someone's emotional needs? And ChatGPT responds, meeting someone's emotional needs requires a combination of empathy, active listening, and appropriate communication and behavior. Here are some general strategies to consider. I love how it goes into detail. Number 1, be present and attentive. Show that you're fully present and attentive by using active listening skills, such as maintaining eye contact, nodding, and providing verbal feedback. This can help the other person feel heard and understood. Number 2, show empathy. Try to understand the other person's perspective and emotions, and show empathy by acknowledging their feelings and experiences. Continue.
Sure.
Number 3, validate their feelings. Let the other person know that their emotions are understandable and valid. This can help them feel accepted and validated. Number 4, use appropriate communication. Choose your words and tone carefully to convey a supportive and caring attitude. Avoid being judgmental or critical. And it's still going.
That's not all.
That's not all, but I can't read anymore.
Number 5, provide comfort and support. Depending on the situation, you may be able to offer comfort or support to the other person. This can include physical touch, kind words, or practical help.
While we wait for it to type up the next thing, let me ask Jay real quick. Like, how do you feel about that list so far? Because
Well, a lot of them are givens. Be present and attentive.
Right.
Oh, really?
Listen.
Okay.
Right.
Number 2, show empathy. Try to understand the other person's perspective and emotions, and show empathy by acknowledging their feelings and experiences. Sure.
That could be joining.
Yeah.
We would say join them.
I would say it's overly simple, and a lot of them are givens. Like,
Right.
validate their feelings. Can you imagine? I mean, in essence, when you join somebody in their emotions, that is validating. But, so if somebody says, "Oh, I had the worst day," you're right to be angry. Like, I'd be like, "Yeah, I know, I'm angry."
okay.
That's, to me, it's
It's a robot.
a little counseling. Sounds like you're angry today. Like, yeah, I know. I just told you I was angry. Stop that. Reflective listening. I hate reflective listening.
How about
I love number 4. Use appropriate communication. Oh,
how about provide comfort and support?
well, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm pushing a little bit just because I'm wondering, like.
Well, you don't, if you're going to use it for the rest of your life in all situations, you want to make sure it's valid.
That's right. No, because I honestly want your thoughts on, like.
No, I would say for these, they're not. None of them are wrong except
Yeah.
for the whole validate their feelings thing, because
Okay.
that's a byproduct. If you meet somebody's emotional needs, their feelings will be validated.
When I read through that list, and granted, I am the least experienced at this table and this stuff, but it even if it's not complete, it comes off as like a.
Well, it's a good guide.
Yeah. Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Respect boundaries. Like, once again, I would hope so. Respect the other person's boundaries and preferences, and don't try to force them to share more than they are comfortable with. And that's meeting somebody where they are. It's joining them in their emotions. It's not, we've talked about that in the past as it pertains to comfort. When somebody's like sad, but they're not like really sad, don't start crying
Yeah.
for them. And they're like, it's not that big of a deal. You're like, yeah, it is. Like, that's.
I will say that last paragraph that it puts is accurate.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. It's a caveat. Remember that meeting someone's emotional needs is not a one-size-fits-all approach. Yeah.
Well, but the important part is the specific strategies and approaches you may vary depending on the individual and their unique needs.
Yeah.
Like that is something that
Can
we
you do the
talk
Romans
about.
12:15 one?
Yeah. You want to skip to that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're kind of getting into I think we've established what it does.
All right. You fill the dead air while I type.
Yeah. I mean, like the other one you typed that we looked at was, what's the best way to comfort somebody? And its answer was, listen actively. Again, I would hope so. Validate their emotions. Offer physical comfort. Offer. Not if they don't want physical. I would not offer physical comfort as number 3. Offer practical support. It's a little early. Ooh, I do not care for this. We should have done this one. Eric, I don't know why you pushed Romans 12:15.
Well, while he types that, tell us.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us. Well,
What?
because
Well, I'm going over them.
It's going to type. Yeah, good.
So 4, offer practical support. Well, that's facts, logic, and reason. We just did a whole podcast on holding off on that.
Yeah.
So number 1 is listen. 2, validate. 3, physical comfort. 4, practical support. 5, encourage self-care. This is garbage. Hot, stinking garbage. Avoid minimizing their feelings. Again, you're telling me how to comfort somebody by telling me what not to do. Like, I would hope you wouldn't minimize their feelings. That's critical. Emotional responding. Avoid judgment. Also critical. Offer reassurance. Remind them that they are not alone. That's one of the best ones they have. And that they will remind them that they are not alone and that they will get through this difficult time.
You'll get through it.
Brian. Rather, hey, I'm here for you.
Right.
We're going to get through this.
Right.
I'm with you no matter what.
You'll get through it.
It's so observational.
Yeah. Good luck.
Have a look.
You're alone or not. I don't know what you're going to do.
Well-
Be patient. Comforting someone can take time. So be patient and avoid rushing the process. That should be number 2. It's in my 2 or 3. And then follow up. Check in on them in days and weeks following the difficult experience to see how they're doing. Certainly. That should be number 4. So ChatGPT. Now, that almost makes sense, though, because
It does.
one of the
I was going to
reasons
talk about that.
why we have this podcast is we have a unique ability and perspective and process in how to join somebody in their emotions and give them comfort in a biblical model refined by years of training at the Center for Relational Care in Texas based on emotionally focused therapy. All right, that's a great title right there. This is more gobbledygook that comes across in the stuff that ChatGPT would be drawing their information from.
Right. And that's what we need to remember, because like I feel like ChatGPT is very good at some things. I've used it and it is very good in doing certain things. But for human emotions,
This is
a real weakness in it, because it's pulling from a lot of opinions, whether it be like Freud or, this psychologist or this psychiatrist or blah, 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 blah. It's pulling from all of those and then spitting it out and making it sounding like very convincing. Whereas I know through real life that when you recognize and you find out what your emotional needs are and what helps comfort you, this is the fact. Like, this is the answer. It's not 5 love languages. It's these emotional needs. And we've experienced that. Whereas the machine is pulling from a million different resources,
Well,
right? And trying to summarize it in a way that makes sense. But in the end, it doesn't, because it's gobbledygook.
It's like hodgy-podgy pulled together.
I've listened to some really good conversations with Joe Rogan's podcast about AI, and really one of the things that AI will always be challenged to replicate is the human spirit. How do you replicate a human spirit? Because you have all these facts, you have all these figures, but there's something unique about a human being.
The soul.
The soul, the spirit. Like
This has no soul.
A machine cannot have a soul.
Not yet.
I was going to say just like a cat, but I like cats.
Who wants to read the Romans 12:15?
I will. Romans 12:15 is a verse from the New Testament of the Bible, which reads, "Rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with those who mourn."
Well, just real quick, what was the question you asked it, Eric?
What is the significance of the Bible verse Romans 12:15?
Okay.
Maybe we should have said application. Go on.
This verse is often interpreted as a call to empathy and compassion towards others, particularly in times of joy and sorrow. It encourages believers to share in the emotions of others, while they are positive or negative, and to support whether they are positive or negative, and to support them through both celebration and hardship. The verse also reflects the idea of Christian fellowship and community, which emphasizes the importance of caring for one another and sharing in each other's joys and sorrows. By expressing empathy and compassion towards others, believers can build deeper relationships and promote a sense of unity and common purpose. Overall, Romans 12:15 is a significant verse in the Bible because it emphasizes the importance of emotional support, compassion, and empathy towards others, and encourages believers to care for one another in times of both joy and sorrow.
A little redundant.
A little bit. It was a little 7th grade-y.
Yeah.
Can I say, though, that like as critical as we want to be, it makes, as Brian was reading that, it makes me happy that is the answer that it has for that.
Yeah.
Because that's, even though it's
not a horrible
it's a
answer.
bit repetitive and everything, it needs, you could say, it needs edited to be a quality essay. It hits a lot of good points.
Well, what I was most impressed by is the one line, by expressing empathy and compassion towards others, believers can build deeper relationships and promote a sense of unity and common purpose. I almost wonder if it knows its Bible real well, because it's building up. It's building up they'll know we are Christians by our love, that our love one another, and that if it's picking up on that, it almost seems like that.
It's interesting because the one that I put in before, just in case we couldn't do it live, it says Romans 12:15 is a verse from the New Testament of the Bible that reads, "Rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with those who mourn." This verse is part of a larger passage in which the Apostle Paul encourages the early Christian community in Rome to live in harmony with one another and use their gifts to serve others. The significance of this verse lies in its call for empathy and compassion. By urging Christians to rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn, Paul emphasizes the importance of putting ourselves in other people's shoes and sharing in their experiences. This is an important part of building community and fostering strong relationships, as it helps us to connect with others on a deep and meaningful level. The verse also speaks to the idea of solidarity and support. By rejoicing with those who rejoice, we show that we are happy for their successes and that we support them in their endeavors. By mourning with those who mourn, we show that we care about their pain and that we are here for them in their time of need. This kind of emotional support can be a powerful source of comfort and strength for those who are going through difficult times. In summary, Romans 12:15 emphasizes the importance of empathy, compassion, and emotional support in building strong and harmonious relationships within the Christian community and beyond. I feel like that's a better answer.
Far better.
That's really solid.
I think it's a useful tool, like you said. In emotional needs, it might not be its strength. So for everybody who's been sitting at the table with us, I guess I would encourage you to just continue to come to the table and don't go to ChatGPT for your emotional responding.
Yes.
Because we have a soul and a spirit.
Needs. Yes.
Can we ask it one more question?
No.
This is totally related. Can we ask it?
When Amy's mad at me,
No. Can we ask it how or where to look for more information on the 10 emotional needs that we just like? I'm just curious what it would tell us.
To see if it brings up Lunchtime in Rome.
Sure. Or anything. Like, we couldn't get it to say sources earlier. I want to know if it'll direct us toward anything that would be better than itself.
I don't know, but as you typed it, I swore you wrote, where can we find more soup?
I love soup.
Soup, soup, soup.
Where can we find more sources on the 10 emotional needs?
Is that a fair question?
Yeah.
It's fair.
Keep asking me. Not me, but ChatGPT.
Okay. Oh, it does.
Willie.
10 Emotional Needs of People by William F. Harley Jr.
Willard.
Do you know any of these?
Willard F. Harley. No.
Emotional needs of children, emotional needs of men and women.
I wonder if we have, this is what we needed to ask to get its sources. I wonder if,
It could be.
yeah. The 10 emotional needs of employees.
Oh, sure. So they gave you 10 books or 5 books.
Yeah, it answered the question.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting. Whether those are anything,
Quality sources or not, who knows?
Right.
We do not know, and we do not.
We do not endorse.
Just tune in every week, okay?
All right, guys. Well, I don't know. I found this totally intriguing. So thank you for joining us at the table for episode 190. Please make sure, if you can, give us a like or follow on social media. Visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com. And while there, please take our relational needs questionnaire. See you next time. Thanks for joining us at the table for Lunchtime in Rome.
See you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.